So the first thing we want to talk about is we want to introduce the business person to why reputation management is important. And this opening slide basically shows you what we're trying to do here. We need to get local businesses to care about reputation management, online reputation management, and why it matters to their day-to-day operations. And so the first portion of this presentation will be a bit of a preamble to discuss the fact that since the creation of the smartphone, a revolution has occurred in the last 7 years. And I was at a convention a couple weeks ago where Google stated that mobile search will eclipse desktop search for the first time on the 15th of November this year. So that's a pretty dramatic statement when you look at the fact that desktop search took 25 some odd years to get to the point that it is, and in just 7 short years, mobile is going to overtake that. And virtually everyone is carrying around a personal computer that's more powerful than the computer that put a man on the moon, and entire industries have changed or became extinct. And, you know, the obvious one that we want to talk about when it comes to the smartphone is the yellow page industry that just doesn't exist anymore. Or it exists in a different, they're trying to make it exist in a different world where, you know, they went to online directories and things like that. But it's not really the multi-billion-dollar industry that it once was. In fact, in some marketplaces, it is illegal to have a phone book delivered to your door. You have to go and search it. They don't just deliver them anymore. So that's a pretty interesting fact for a business person, especially when you're dealing with somebody that owns the business and maybe 50 plus, that grew up with placing a yellow page ad or placing their listing in a phone book. And the reason that we bring this up is because we're going to talk about listings and visibility and why they're important in the online world. Now, this is what I call the smartphone zombies, and this isn't just people under the age of 30 anymore. My parents, 67 years old, I got them smartphones about 8 months ago. I can't get their hands off them. They're on them all the time. It's ridiculous. You can't carry on a conversation with those people anymore. They're on their phone all the time. This is what's happening, is they're using their phones, they're searching for things, and the interesting fact is if you were to ask a business person that uses a smartphone if they know the phone number of maybe their doctor or maybe someone in their immediate family, and if, in fact, we all can admit this, there are people in our immediate family, we don't know their number anymore. Why would we remember their number? Because it's just a contact in the phone. We push a contact list, there's all our numbers right there. So if we don't remember someone's phone number in our immediate family, how are we going to remember the phone number of a business that we deal with? And everything comes around to your digital footprint. And I'm going to submit to you that a business's virtual doorway to their business, the virtual doorway that exists on the listing sites and the review sites and the social sites that are out there, is more important than the actual doorway to their business. And that is the revolution that has occurred. And your reputation online is what people say about you, your digital footprint, and what others say about you, your digital shadow. And we are going to, first of all, educate the business person as to why this is important to them, and then we're going to show them how our software solution will help make their lives a lot simpler and help increase their return on investment from their traditional advertising. So reputation and presence go hand in hand, and this is where we get into online visibility. Visibility is that information that you used to give the phone company, and they would publish it in the phone directory, and, you know, hopefully they got it right, because if they got the wrong number, the wrong address in the phone book, it was a year before they printed another one to fix it. That's what we're talking about when we talk about a business's online visibility. The only difference is today, it's all online, and there's 50 phone books, and they do a lot cooler stuff. They're called Google and Bing and Yahoo and Yelp and all of the directory sites, and those directory sites are pretty much all the yellow page companies trying to reinvent themselves. And then we have the social sites like the Twitter and the LinkedIn and the Facebook. And we have some other local directory sites that may be applicable in the marketplace that you people are working in. So that's your visibility. And visibility and reputation are coupled. They are vitally important. They need to be working in sync for a business to win new deals. So you could have good visibility, meaning when I search you, I'm able to find you, the phone number is correct, the address is correct, the website is correct. But if you have a negative reputation, meaning everywhere that I search you, you've got bad reviews, that's where everything ends. And if you have clients that are saying to you, my traditional advertising just doesn't seem to work as well as it used to. I used to run an ad, put some specials in it, and people would just show up, or they'd ring the phone, or they'd come in the door. Well, one of the reasons that traditional advertising may not be working as well is, number one, your visibility might be broken, meaning when they go to do a search, because the advertising created top-of-mind awareness, so when a need for the product comes up, they go and do a search. And then you have the wrong address, or you have the wrong phone number, or you don't have your website listed there. That could be part of the problem. The other part of the problem could be you have a bad reputation. There's negative reviews there saying from people that have done business with you, basically saying, don't do business with this company. And that is hurting business people. And our job is to go out and teach them why it's important to have a positive reputation coupled with visibility so they can start winning business. Now, along the same vein here, both of these axes need to be working in sync. You could have a good reputation, meaning you do a great job of taking care of customers, but number one, they don't post online that you do a great job, or number two, your visibility is broken. We call that a shame, because you do a great job taking care of customers, just that nobody knows about it. So there's a number of different scenarios where we can help a business person depending upon what their need is. They either have broken visibility. We need to fix that. They have a bad reputation. We need to help them get a positive reputation online. They have a good reputation, but nobody knows about it. So we need to take that positive reputation and share it out across the various social channels and other media that is available to tell people about the good job they do. So this slide is very important. And when I'm doing in-market seminars and talking to business people and going on four-legged calls with reps, which I do all over North America, I spend a lot of time on this slide because those clients are wondering why their traditional advertising isn't working as well as it used to. And they're blaming the media, saying, nobody reads the paper anymore, nobody listens to radio anymore, nobody watches TV anymore. Well, actually, Mr. Business Person, the problem is within you and your organization because of these items. We're going to show him how we can find out what the problems and the sources of pain that he or she has with our tool. Consumers are controlling conversations. We, as consumers, are going online and talking about the businesses that we do business with, and we're saying whether it's been a good experience or a bad experience. And customers trust their peers more than they trust traditional advertising. So that's why this information that's found in a business's online universe, that virtual doorway to their business, is so important. And this is the world that we live in today. 1.1 billion users on Facebook. TripAdvisor, such a great story. 4 years ago, this guy started the business in the attic of his garage. They were on the cover of the Wall Street Journal about 3 weeks ago. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they are getting 30% more reviews every month. So what we need to also tell the business person, I usually highlight this TripAdvisor story because it's brand new, but we need to tell the business person this isn't going away, and it's never going to be less important than it is today. We're in the infancy of this industry. You need to get your online reputation in working properly for your business, or it is going to sink you. It's that important. So we're going to focus on listing and visibility reviews and mentions competition monitoring and social marketing with the presentation today. I'd like to stop at this point and ask if there's any questions. This is what I call the introduction. Are there any questions around those items I spoke about in the introduction?
None here.
So the next part of the presentation when we're out talking to a client is what I call showing them the pain. This is where we create fear of loss. This is where we show them the items that could really be affecting their bottom line. We kind of touched a little bit on it in visibility and reputation on that axis, but we're really going to delve into it now. And this is the nightmare that exists when it comes to local listings. This is where listing information is stored on the internet. And it comes from a number of different places. Basically, where it comes from is the Yellow Page companies, when things were going sideways, they started selling that listing information because that data was of a value. And they're sharing that information out. So we didn't put the arrows in there just to make it more confusing. The arrows actually exist because that's how those sites talk to each other. And that's where they push information. So if you had a wrong phone number or an old address of a location of your business, it could get shared out to other places. Because business people are saying, well, how did that listing end up there? I didn't put a listing on that site. You don't have to put a listing on that site. They bought it from one of these other companies, and it was old information or it had the wrong phone number. The other thing that you got to be worried about is people creating what I call rogue listings. So a couple weeks ago, I was in Miami. I was searching out a partner. I went to my Apple Maps app. I put in the name of the business that I was looking for, and 4 flags came up. None of them in the same area, not even close. So I picked the one that was closest to me and thought, I'll give this one a shot. And I went there, and that wasn't the location. Somebody had created the wrong location for that business. That's the thing that a business person should be most worried about, is the fact that when we're looking for a business, we go to our map app, we put the name of the business in, and we trust that it's going to take us there. So we need to make sure that we have that proper information. So that is the listing universe, and where it's a bit of a nightmare. And Mr. Business Person, we're going to help you make sense of that. That's the message that we want to convey to the client. We're going to make sure you're listed where you need to be, and we're going to make sure that those listings are accurate. Visibility really is about three things that we sell to the client. The first is we're going to monitor and identify listing issues versus your anchor data. And let's go into the software and show you how we do that. This is a client of ours from Las Vegas called LASIK of Nevada. And this is the anchor data. This is how they want to be seen. And this is why this solution is so powerful from a sales perspective, and what I like, because I'm a media guy. Larry and I are both old media guys. We're going to admit that right now to you on the phone. And we've sold ads, we've been on the street, we've made calls, and this tool allows us, with just the name of the business, the address, the phone number, and the website, to create a prospect out of this client, and to walk into the client and say, we logged you into our software, and this is what we found. You have some issues. You have 2 listings here. You have phone numbers that are wrong. You have no listing on some sites. So we're able to walk in to the client and say, we ran a sample report, we found some issues with your listings, and we're going to help you clean these up so that we can get you into that 90% to 100% range. That's where we want to be with this presence score. And we want to clean up any rogue listings. We want to clean up any mistakes that are out there. We want to get all that stuff sorted out. So that is, when we talk about listings, there's 3 things. The first is monitor and identifying the issues versus anchor data and cleaning them up. And when we clean them up, it's going to help you with something that is vitally important to business, and that is the Google Places rank and local search. Now, there are people out there selling SEO, and they're trying to sell it over the phone, and they phone these business persons, and they say, we're going to put you on the first page of Google, give me your credit card, and $1,000, we'll go to work for you. And it really is, it's a bit of a snake oil thing. The business person doesn't care about the first page of Google. People who care about the first page of Google are Apple and Samsung and Acer and companies like that, Ford Motor Company. What a business in your community cares about is local search. They care about this search, and this is what people do. They say, I need to get my hair cut today, so I'm looking for hair salons in Elkhart, Indiana. So here are the hair salons that come up in Elkhart, Indiana, and this is what we call the Magic 7. And here they are, 7 hair salons that showed up in Elkhart. We've got them on the map here. There's also all these other hair salons that showed up, but they didn't make it into this rank. So and this is what a business person will ask you when you show them the search, he'll say, how do I end up there? And you'll say, we have the solution for you, sir or ma'am. We're going to help you with that. We're going to improve the consistency of your listing across these various sites, and that is the key to showing up on this, getting these listings correct and having consistency. Number 2, we're going to create a Google Plus local account for you, which is one of the 3 things you need to show up on that. Plus, once you have that Google Plus local, we're going to help you get some reviews, because you'll see that that's what these people have. They have consistency in their listings, they have a Google Plus page, or they have some Google reviews. And it doesn't take a lot of Google reviews to show up on this rank. In fact, Great Clips have 1. So if you have a hair salon that's interested in being a part of this search, which I think they probably would, you can go to them and say, in a few easy steps, we can get you to show up on this local search rank. So pretty powerful stuff, and very easy to tell the client what we're able to perform for them and how we're able to help them. The third item we like to talk about around visibility leads us into the next section of the presentation, and that is review sites. It's really tough to get reviews if you're not listed correctly on the review sites. So we're going to make sure that those review sites are listed correctly, Google Plus being one of the main ones. So that's visibility. And it is vitally important to a business, and I like to leave them with this. Accurate listings make customers happy, and that makes Google happy. And it's Google's ballgame. We have to play by their rules. It's the #1 search engine in the world. we need to help you improve your ranking in Google, and this is one way to do it in local search. So are there any questions about visibility? I like to stop here and kind of draw a line in the sand and say, that's visibility, that's what we need to talk about.
None here.
None? Okay, so the next item up is we need to talk about reviews. So let's talk about those reviews because they're really important. There's three things that can happen with a business. They either have no reviews, and we need to tell them you need to get some reviews, because if you look at item number 2 on this list, 90% of U.S. consumers say buying decisions are influenced by online reviews. And when I'm doing these seminars in market, I usually stop at this point and I ask for a show of hands of how many people use online reviews, and it's virtually everyone in the room. And the funny part is they all look at each other and go, oh, I thought I was the only one. But everyone is using online reviews. So we better help the business get some online reviews if they don't have any. The second scenario is if they have negative reviews. Well, that's a problem too, because not only are we're going to look through those reviews and see a negative reputation, but when they did the search for your business, Mr. Client, Miss Client, we also brought up onto that list, and we noticed that when we did the search for hair salons, we brought up all your competitors. So right here, if you don't show up on this list, or maybe you are Posh Salon and you show up and I go check your Google reviews and I see that you have a negative reputation, well, I'm just going to go to this next place. I might just go here or here. So I brought up, when I did the search, I brought up 7 places that I could go. And I'm going to check these reviews. So that's why it's so important to have that positive reputation online. Now, the third item might be the business has lots. So let's say we go into the review tab for this client and we're prospecting this LASIK of Nevada, and we find out they have lots of reviews. Pretend they don't have 25. Pretend they have 250. So the one thing I like to show the client when I'm doing my presentation is I show them this drop-down right here under reviews. And it shows the various review sites that these 250, we're pretending now, reviews have come from. And that is your client scenario where they have lots of reviews. Maybe they're a car dealer or they're a busy restaurant or something like that. Now, when we do the sales pitch, there's 3 different pitches. The first is you have no reviews. Well, we're going to get you some reviews. That's going to help your Google Places rank. It's going to help you with that positive reputation and the fact that 90% of U.S. consumers are using online reviews. If the scenario is they have negative reviews, well, we're going to help you get some positive reviews. And I'll show you how we'll do that in a moment. And then the third scenario is they have a whole bunch of reviews. And how we sell the tool when they have a whole bunch of reviews is the fact that you have 250 reviews coming in, and there is no way that you're logging into the 10-plus or 5-plus review sites every day, every week, probably not even every month. And these reviews are gold. They're marketing gold, and they're intelligence about how your business is running. And I'm going to show you how we play out all 3 of these scenarios. So the first thing is a business needs to know where a review came from and how to handle it. And the first things in the 3 steps to review success is to engage the reviewer. Now, this online universe that we're dealing in, the virtual world, the virtual door to a business, someone is reviewing you online. He's saying things about the business, positive, negative, whatever it might be. Is that any different than him standing in the showroom of a car dealership, reviewing the store live? And if that were to happen, and I challenge business people on this, would you just ignore that person and walk away from him in your store? And they'd say, well, of course I wouldn't. So what would you do if they were saying things, whether it was negative, positive? Well, no, I'd listen to them and I'd talk to them. Yes, you would engage them. So if you wouldn't ignore them live, why would you ignore them in an arena where 20,000 people could be watching you ignore your customers? And usually the business person goes, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't really think of it that way. Well, how do we do that? Well, we are going to give you the ability to talk to those review sites and to tell your side of the story. So when someone goes to review, the reason that they go to an online site usually is they didn't find the person at the store that they wanted to, that was a manager, that was in a position to help them. So then they jump on their little soapbox, being Yelp or Google+, and they say a whole bunch of stuff. I had a bad experience, blah, blah, blah. So if that person is saying those things, what we need to do is we need to move them into a quiet room. Because that's what we do if it was happening inside our business. Someone was negatively reviewing us, we'd say, hey, excuse me, sir, let's go into my office. Let's talk about it. See if we can solve this problem. Same thing online. You don't want to go back and forth on Yelp with a customer that may be unhappy with you. Make a statement and say, we didn't do that, you're out of your mind, then he's going to come back with something else. What you want to say is, here's my phone number, I own the joint, or I'm the general manager, give me a call and let's see if we can work this out. So what you're doing is you're taking that reviewer and you're moving him into a quiet room so you can deal with him. We had a business person that went online and said they're going to give $25 to everybody that posts a negative review. Well, I would send a negative review in just to get the gift certificate. That's not what you want to do. You want to talk to that person and solve the problem. And if that means you've got to give them a gift certificate, do it on your cell phone. Don't do it on a website where a whole bunch of other people can see it. Now, the other thing with dealing with this negative reviewer, you get a chance to maybe win the game, which is what I call the holy grail of review management. And that is, after you've dealt with the negative review, you've solved the problem, you can ask that negative reviewer to remove the negative review from the website. And the only person who can remove a negative review is the person that posted it, or a lawyer that you pay a whole bunch of money to that can prove it's slander. And I don't mean a couple $100s, I mean tens of thousands of dollars. So there's just two scenarios to get rid of that negative review. So that's engaging the reviewer in some of the benefits of talking to a reviewer online. Tell your side of the story. There's people out there you're never going to make happy. That's not why you're engaging them. You're engaging that reviewer to show everybody else that reads it that you care. So that's around number one. Let's skip over to number 3, harvesting user-generated content. That's just a fancy word for word of mouth. And when Larry and I, and I'm sure some of you, started selling advertising, or even to this day, you have clients saying to you, boy, I wish I could buy word of mouth. That's good advertising. Well, guess what this 5-star review from July 11th, 2013 for LASIK of Nevada is? It's a 5-star review saying what a great job he did. He solved the dry eye epidemic. They did a whole bunch of stuff. Talked about Dr. Rothman, under-promised, over-delivered. What a fabulous piece of word of mouth this is. And with a click of a button, we can share that out across our social media channels. So we can connect Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We can schedule when we want to send it out so it has maximum effectiveness for the business person. So that's how we can harvest some of that word of mouth, this information right here, and send it out across our social media channels. Now, number 2, I like to spend quite a bit of time on, and that is thinking of reviews as management tools. And a little over a year ago, I started barking about this and why it was important. Reviews have intelligence about how the business is running. Even the most ridiculous reviewer might have a little bit of a nugget in there to help you run the business better. And we need to show the business person that that is the case. And the other day I was watching John Tapper on his bar rescue show on Spike Television. It was interesting. They were fixing a bar that had some problems. Him and his wife were doing the initial intelligence before they figure out how they're going to fix it. And what they did as they were going to the end of this intelligence piece is they pulled out all the reviews from online and they read through them. And they said, well, this server didn't do a good job and this bartender does a good job and this didn't work out properly. And that's what a business person should be doing with these reviews. The good reviews show you staff members that you should prop up in a meeting and say, do it like Susan does it. She does a great job. And you should set goals and say, hey, whoever gets the most 5-star reviews in the next 90 days, we're going to pay a bonus to. And the bad reviews show you staff that require more training, managers that didn't do their job on following through, and policy issues that might need to be changed in the business. Now, how do we report these reviews to the business person so that they can use this intelligence to run their business better? Because we already know if there's a whole bunch of reviews coming in here, the business person isn't going to log into Google+, Merchant Circle, Yellow Pages, Yelp, and on on a daily basis to see reviews. That's just not going to happen. So what we built was a platform that allows that business person to receive these as daily alerts without doing anything. They don't have to learn how to run any software. And business people like that. They're like, this is just automatic? Yeah, the only thing you have to do is open your email, because we're going to allow them to put 6 email addresses into the system, and when a review is posted on one of the review sites that we look at, or on any of the other places in the internet, there's a very positive or very negative mention, we're going to send an alert out the very next day. And that's going to go to the email of these 6 different people. So it could be the owners, a couple general managers, an assistant manager. They get this information. So if you're selling this to a business that has multiple owners, and maybe some of them don't run the business, they're going to love this because they're going to be able to see what's going on in their store without being there. The other thing is that they have multiple locations and they've got a bunch of managers running it, and they wonder every day if their managers are doing their job. I guarantee you they do. And I've talked to thousands of business people, they tell me the same thing. Worry about their staff and management is the thing that keeps them awake at night. Having this system automatically deliver those reviews and that business intelligence is one of the key sales points. And we know that last month we had hundreds of thousands of these emails sent out to our businesses online, and over 70% of them were opened. And that's a huge engagement rate. We know that people love this service of these alerts. So that is one of the key ways that we report that intelligence from those reviews. And the good news is, Mr. Business Person, is that 86% of consumers quit doing business with a company because of bad customer service, but 95% of those unhappy customers will return if an issue is resolved quickly and efficiently. So I'd like to stop it at this point and ask if there's any questions around reviews. If you have any questions around how to sell the review piece, how it all works, anything like that.
How do you get the reviews for the customers if they don't have any?
Good question. So what we're using in a number of different markets to get those reviews is not a piece of software, it's a postcard. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Because the business that has negative reviews, we need to get them some positive reviews. And if they have no reviews, we need to get some of the people that say good things about them to post those reviews. So this is an example of the postcard that's being used in a number of our markets. We've had it out there for a few months now, and it's working wonders. In fact, what some of the markets will do is they will offer this postcard as part of the package. They'll print these for the business person. And what it is very simple. It just says, thank you, how did we do? And we train the staff to hand these out to their customers after a transaction. And what it says here is, we're striving for 100% customer satisfaction. If we didn't achieve this, call me the owner. And if we did achieve it, would you mind posting a positive review on Google Plus or Yelp? We've cleaned up the listing so we have the actual URLs. And if you wouldn't mind mentioning my name, I'm Sandra, I took care of you because I get a bit of a bonus in 90 days if I get a bunch of these. So this does a couple things. You can take this in electronic form and send it to anybody that sent emails to a business person saying, hey, you did a great job, thank you. We could just send them a little note saying, hey, if you wouldn't mind taking just a snapshot of what you said in that letter and posting it to a review site for us, we'd really appreciate that. The other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to take a tablet and put this online, run around at a customer appreciation day or something like that in your business and say, hey, would you mind reviewing me? Because Google and Yelp are going to see that you went from having no reviews or 5 reviews to 200 reviews in a day, and they all came from the same IP address, and they're going to filter them. So you want to make sure that it's authentic, and that's why handing out a postcard that hopefully when they get home, they will post it from their IP address at their house. Then they'll look at it and go, oh, okay. And you want these to trickle in. You don't want to go from 0 to 100 tomorrow because the Google Plus and Yelp are going to say that's not realistic. So you want a couple of them to come in this week, couple next week, and that'll help you build that positive online reputation. But more than that, when you have the staff meeting with the staff to discuss this, you get all the Sandras and all the Tristans and all the Tiffany's helping you get on positive online reputation. And that's the most important part. You want them doing a better job of serving customers, and you want them to tell their customers to post online about the business. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
So what we have partners doing is, part of the package, we're going to take care of your reputation, we're going to do all these things, and we're going to print you 500 of these postcards as part of the deal. So when you sign them up, a couple days later you show up with these postcards. We already know if we show the business person this idea, 2 out of 10 are going to do it. We've got to go the extra mile, print the postcard, just build it in, then you know they're doing it. We know this will work. It's working for hundreds of business people, and we started doing this about 6 months ago, and we're getting rave reviews about this postcard thing. Any other questions?
No, sir.
No news is good news, probably. Maybe. So I just want to throw out my profile here on LinkedIn. You're all welcome to connect with me. And we try and share out some best practices pretty much on a weekly basis. We do have a weekly webinar where we talk about, and it's all sales-based. It's not based on how the product works or that type of thing. It's based on how you take the deliverables from the product and sell it to a business person. I really want to caution you on going too deep into the product with your clients. You're going to have some clients that are going to want to go deeper, but it's going to be a very small percentage. The majority of people just want you to solve the problem. So we know that there's an issue. They've got questions about the search. They've got questions about their online reviews. They know that they're out there. They just don't know how to deal with them. We want to give them some very clear deliverables. And the good news is you're going to move the needle on the business. It's going to help their ROI. Because right now, part of the problem that they're having is people are going to a site to try and find them. Their visibility is broken. Or if the visibility is right, they've got negative reviews or no reviews. So, just by moving the needle a little on some of these things, you're going to help them in all of the other aspects of their day-to-day. Now, if they're getting a bunch of reviews and they're not using those to work with their staff, that's another huge issue. And if we look at some of the large chain stores, one of the things that they spend a lot of money on is secret shopping. And we know this. And I like to tell this story to individual businesses. One of the benefits they have is they've got 50 stores and they've got this big budget and they can go hire secret shoppers, and they know that if you secret shop a store, it will show you that the manager didn't do a good job of training staff. That's what these reviews are. In fact, I think they're a little better than secret shoppers because nobody is getting paid to post them. They're coming right from how the client feels about the way they're being treated. So, spend time on that review piece, spend time on the visibility, reputation, being connected, and you'll see business people's eyes light up. I appreciate your time.